Good morning, I'm David Nelson. We are following breaking news right now. A fire has broken out at the Credit Island Clubhouse in Davenport. Amber O'Brien is there live right now. Amber, what can you tell us?
David, we just arrived on scene, and you can actually see the flames still billowing out of the top of the clubhouse. And as we zoom in closer, just take a look at that roof. Clearly, it's collapsing. And you can also notice that the flood walls there, that was from just 2 weeks ago. One of the main issues for firefighters arriving on scene was driving down Credit Island Lane. I'm told that it's difficult to get these big trucks and vehicles down here with water, supplies, and firefighters. And that's one of the main issues they're dealing with right now. Currently still battling the flames. It's a little bit difficult to see the smoke just because we do have that dark sky because of the rain. I'm not sure whether or not that rain is helping or hurting the situation here.
Water gushing like a fountain from manhole covers on River Drive, making a big splash as the vehicles drive through, closing roads here and all over the Quad City area. And flooding inside homes, too. Many homeowners facing wet basements and worse tonight. That tops your news at 6 tonight. Team coverage of the flooding. I'm Paula Sands. Gary Mativier is in Kelowna, where many homeowners are having a rough time tonight, Gary.
They certainly are, Paula. You can see it right behind me here all along this road, these houses. The water is starting to pull back tonight, but this is flash flooding. You know, the Rock River is not very far from these homes, but that is not where this water came from. All this water came from the sky, and it came down in a hurry. We want to also point out that we talk about safety a lot when it comes to floodwaters. We were in this water checking it out a little bit earlier. Again, this is just puddles behind homes. It was close to knee level. It was safe and secure. We made sure to check that out, but make sure to stay away from streams or rivers because we know they are riding very high, and some, in fact, may be coming close to record high. For the latest on what's happening in Moline, let's continue our team coverage now with KWQC Mark Stevens, who has the latest on preparations there. Mark?
The Durant High School softball team is bringing home a state title tonight after beating out Trainer to win the 2A championship. It is the first for the team in the school's history and the first time any team in the school has brought home the title in more than 10 years. The community rallied to celebrate the team tonight, but as KWQC's Danielle McCarthy shows us, they were also honoring someone else.
Packing the gym, putting up signs. You could say the competition's steep to become the team's #1 fan. But senior pitcher Paige Compton says she knows who that title belongs to.
Dean McCleary. He was always on the side, always down the third baseline, always sat in the same spot every single time and was at every game.
He was always that bubbly character that was on the sidelines at the games, and he liked to bring us softball cookies.
Dean McCleary never had a kid on the team, but his mother says he made it to every game he could and would have gone to this year's championship.
Oh, he would have been right there, and he would have been crying right along with them. Yep, he would have been so proud too. Yep, he would have been so proud too.
But at 51, the Durant High School graduate passed away from a heart attack, just 1 month after posing for this picture from last year's third-place state finish.
KWQC's Morgan Otier introduces us to two friends who just found out they are related.
Paula O'Brien and Abby Donahoe have been friends for several years.
Yeah, did you? I did.
They have similar personalities. They kind of even look alike.
The night that we met at a party, we had a couple people tell us that we looked alike, and we just thought it was funny.
But these women have more in common than they had ever imagined.
When I was a little girl, one of my older brothers and his girlfriend gave a baby up for adoption, and my family was devastated. We were heartbroken at the loss of that little girl.
Paula was 10 years old when her infant niece was adopted.
It really had an impact on me, and for years I had hoped to find her. For a brief time, I gave up hope.
But last Wednesday, Paula posted a status on Facebook telling more than 1,000 of her closest friends that her niece was given up for adoption on September 19th, 29 years ago.
And one of my friends responded.
And so I read it and I'm just like, September 19th, that's my birthday.
At first, Abby Donahoe found the odd coincidence funny.
That's my birthday and I was adopted, and how crazy would that be?
tonight. The meeting was meant to be an informal discussion about how a casino purchase could affect Davenport taxpayers. Good evening, I'm Gary Mativier.
And I'm Sharon DeReek. Instead, it turned into a shouting match between Davenport Mayor Bill Gluba and members of the public.
KWQC's Mark Stevens explains members of the business community appear to be very frustrated with Davenport's changing answers to some very big questions here, Mark.
The questions are huge. How will the casino purchase be afford to take on so much debt? What happens if the casino doesn't bring in as much as expected? These are the questions the City, Riverboat Development Authority, and Davenport Community Improvement Corporation have to decide on to meet the city's goal of submitting a casino purchase application in a few weeks. Questions that draw very strong opinions.
Your money, then, use mine. I pay taxes too, my friend. I didn't say you didn't. I said use yours, not mine.
Mayor Bill Gluba became frustrated after listening to members of the business community question the city's attempt to buy the Rhythm City Casino setting.
If you want to learn, come down to City Hall. We don't meter bars where you can't put things up properly.
It's very hard to analyze this project because there's nothing certain yet. You don't know what the costs are. You don't know what the revenue estimates are. You don't know what how financing is going to be arranged, and all are critical, obviously.
One of the ways that you've been trying to correct it, if you will, is by having and proposing and being a strong proponent of a city-based, city-owned casino, funded in part by, it would be indirectly taxpayer money. A lot of taxpayers asking tonight, a city council moving ahead with a perhaps $100 million plus without a referendum, without a public vote on this. Tell us why you feel that a city-owned casino would have been in the best interest and where you hope to go from here.
Well, first of all, both Dubuque and Des Moines have community-owned casinos, and Dubuque has a significant lower property tax. We could have lowered property taxes by millions of dollars, but that's not the issue now. We went from that to a completely private-owned facility by Mr. Blackwell and others, and now we're at a totally private-owned casino. So it really boils down to what's in the best financial interest of the people of Davenport. Under the Carver, Blackwell, Clairvest proposal, the various organizations get substantially more money. The Figge, the Putnam, the Adler, and the Sisters of Humility homeless shelters. So we're still trying to get the best deal for the city and those organizations as well.
I can't believe that something like this would happen.
People who typically come to downtown LeClaire for shopping and small-town attractions are getting a glimpse of a large-scale emergency response.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, not at all, actually. No, I've seen a boat sink, a little boat, but never a big one like that. That's pretty intense.
A sunken towboat with 16 feet of river water inside of it. It's certainly something to see, but it's also an accident with the potential for a serious environmental impact.
There's over 100,000 gallons of petroleum products on board this ship, and it is our major concern that we limit the impact to the environment.
We are following breaking news this morning out of West Davenport, where an officer was involved in a shooting. TV6 was first on the scene this morning, and KWQC's Amber O'Brien joins us live from the scene with new details. Amber, what's the latest?
Well, we are live from the scene of the officer-involved shooting. Police responded early this morning for a call of an individual sleeping in his car in the alley of 900 West 16th Street. Davenport police tell us the suspect was held down when he got out of the officer's hold, and then 3 to 4 shots were fired. The suspect did have a weapon on him, and we know both the officer and suspect have been brought to the hospital. Police are still on scene investigating.
Absolutely, Sharon. You know, the word we've heard over and over again today is devastating, and you can see why. Really, all that's left of this local landmark sits here behind this crime scene tape. You can see a charred pile of rubble, some melted siding, basically a few walls. It's so different from what Dell's was, and showing us nothing of how hard crews worked to save it. The sky glowed orange for hours this morning. Crews from more than a dozen departments doing their best to knock down the flames, to just stop them from spreading. They were called out just after 8, just after Dell's had opened for the day. We're told one person was on site at the time, able to get out. No one was hurt, but by the time firefighters arrived, they tell us the banquet hall here was engulfed in flames.
There's blood everywhere, please hurry. Brookside Drive, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. There's blood everywhere.
This Bettendorf family spends more time together these days, holding hands and appreciating life after an unbelievable accident with an even more amazing outcome.
It was Saturday before Easter when David Russo was making a repair to the tie rod on the family van. He jacked it up just enough to get the tire off, when without thinking, he checked underneath.
It was a quick procedure, was almost done with it, and it chopped.
I need help. My car fell on my husband.
Somehow the jack slipped, and like a vice, the frame of the van came down, trapping David.
Instant pressure, a lot of pressure to my head.
He tried to relieve that pressure by pushing up on the vehicle using his arms and even his legs, but he was no match for the 3,500 pounds of steel, so he started yelling for help. David's weak voice went unnoticed by everyone inside except for the family dog, Diego.
But Diego kind of barked, but then I told him to stop, but he wouldn't, so I looked, and then I said, Mom, come here.
I lost it, and I panicked, and all I knew what to do was just scream.
That's when Natalia, a first grader, made a life-saving decision. She grabbed her mom's phone, dialed 911, and then handed the phone back to her mother.
Another one. I need an ambulance now. David, come to me.
And we are off. 39th running of the Quad City Times Big 7 Road Race. A great start. And you can see the leaders already positioning themselves as they make their way up Brady Street Hill.
And they're just trying to get warm.
Yeah. A record 58 degrees at the start. Coolest start ever for the Bix in 39 years.
Yeah, on the left of the screen already in the orange top and the long white socks, compression socks, Bev Kwqc, a two-time champion, charging up that hill very strong early on. Bev's got nothing to lose out there. He knows he's a little bit under the radar with that big family move from Mammoth Lakes back down to the hometown of San Diego. Getting himself, back in form. He'll take on a fall marathon later this year.
We'll be keeping an eye on the bib numbers. Number 1 is our defending champ, two-time defending champ.
Now, live from downtown Davenport to get you ready for the parade, your hosts, Gary Mativier and Paula Sands.
And we are getting you ready for this parade and the entire holiday season. Good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Mativier.
I'm Paula Sands. Good morning to you all. We are making spirits bright. That is the theme of Festival of Trees this year. This morning, we're not making you so warm, but we are making spirits bright, for sure.
Well, in particular for the people that are sitting at home watching them, they are nice and warm, and so are these guys, all bundled up and ready for the exciting tradition that is the Festival of Trees Parade, Paula.
It truly is. Rudolph is coming up right behind the parrot heads.
Rudolph, with your nose so red, about as red as mine is right now.
Right.
Won't you guide our sleigh tonight?
He's flying high from John Deere and Bechtel Trust and Foundation. That's the sponsor on this one. And, Rudolph is lighting the way for, our guy is going to come up.
It's a very important job, don't you know?
I mean,
somebody has to clear the way for Santa and the sleigh, and it's Rudolph coming all the way from the North Pole to be in the parade today.
My favorite Christmas show is still the Rudolph TV show,
too.
Which debuted in '64. That's how old it is. And, we just love Rudolph and the song and everything about him. So he's doing his thing today, and he's staying upright.
And he's one of the taller ones today, too, so far. And with help from all of you, thousands of toys and thousands of dollars in donations for Toys for Tots today.
Impressive out there. KWQC's Morgan Otier has been out braving the cold along with the Marine Corps reservists, and she joins us now from out there. People really came out in full force for the kids, Morgan.
Yeah, they really did. We've been out here all day, the Marines more so even than I, and we've really seen the community come together today and donate tons and tons of toys for kids in the Quad Cities who really need them. And I'm here with Gunnery Sergeant Jason Fox, and you have seen that firsthand today. Lines of cars, people coming by to drop off toys for kids.
Yes, of course. I've been here since 8:30. True Quad City fashion all day. It's been constant lines, here and there slow, but for the most part, we've had a constant line of cars coming in, dropping off toys, money, things of that nature. So it's been a great day.
And we're gauging it by how much we can fill a truck. So talk about, at this point, have we filled a truck?
We have filled one full 7-ton. We're probably looking at what we have right here. hopefully getting about 2 full trucks before we leave this place today.
Wow, fantastic. So 2 full trucks today, and we have to give you an update too on monetary donations. We have neared the $19,000 mark, which is fantastic, and we've still got about 25 minutes left, so we hope to see everybody here before our drive ends today.
Dozen units. There is virtually nothing left for more than a dozen families. You can see firefighters. They are still on scene right now, actively searching for hotspots, still really working to save what they can of this building, even as the people who live here work to figure out what they do next.
I never experienced this, my very first time in my life.
Something no one wants to experience, something that's hard to imagine for most of us, losing everything in a fire. And this one happening just 2 days after Christmas.
I went outside to take my kids out there. There was one right here next to me, and there's one behind me. And my other kid's mom yelled out there and said, "There's a fire, there's smoke." So I ran up the stairs and get everybody out as soon as I can.
Residents running out with just the clothes on their backs and what they could grab. Arriving firefighters told people were still inside.
Our first priority was to be sure that we did get everybody out of the building, and as a consequence, the fire got a little further along.
You can see smoke pouring from doors and windows, flames shooting out of the back and from the roof, where firefighters worked furiously to save the building.
This surveillance video of the tornado that passed through Muscatine on Monday shows how fast the storm went through. So quickly, Weather Center and city officials say they were not able to detect it in time to sound the warning. Wayne Hawry died from the injuries he received in this storm. So what can the city learn from all of this at this point? Muscatine leaders are gathering to talk about it. One thing they agree on is that residents need to be educated on what to do during severe weather. And the mayor wants less reliance on sirens.
We as county officials and city officials need to do a better job of educating our community and encouraging them to take a little more responsibility themselves and accountability for what they do when they hear a siren or even when they don't hear a siren.
The Calvary Church in Muscatine was hit hard by the storm. It's right next door to Krieger's Collision Center, where one employee lost his life. Tonight, the church is collecting donations for the man's family. And KWQC's Morgan Otier is here to tell us about this donation drive. It's kind of like a garage sale, Morgan?
Yeah, Paula, one of the biggest garage sales you've ever been to, I'm sure. Take a look at this warehouse. Now, it's packed with items that this church has collected over the past decade. We're talking furniture, pool tables, musical instruments, you name it. Organizers are doing this for more than one reason, though. They want to help a family in need. But Calvary Church was also destroyed in Monday's storm. There's water damage, there's structural damage. We're told it's not even safe to go inside right now. It could be a year before reconstruction is complete, so everything in this nearby warehouse must go so it can be used in the meantime.
And now we're trying to make this area into our temporary worship space while they kind of put that building back together. So everything has to go. We need the stuff gone, but we're excited more that's going to be a blessing to this family.
And get this, there are no prices on any of these items inside the warehouse. No price tags at all. Church organizers just ask that you leave some sort of donation for the family who lost a loved one in Monday's devastating tornado. Paula?
So helping the family and the church. Thanks, Morgan. That donation drive started at 5. It runs till 9 tonight. Whatever doesn't go tonight will be donated elsewhere tomorrow.
Any mercury would be considered, concerning.
It's a very hazardous material that can cause severe kidney and neurological health problems if consumed or inhaled. Environmental officials take even the smallest amount serious and say what was recovered from the soil at ADM is significant. Then there's the unknown amount that could be beneath the surface.
It's a concern, and we're diligently trying to figure out what we're going to do next.
The well where the leak happened at ADM is non-public. But the DNR is worried about the deep aquifer that well pulls water from and anyone else that could be using it.
We're not sure how much of the interaction, can it contaminate other wells? We don't know at this point.
We're told Iowa American Water was contacted and has increased monitoring of its wells. ADM will work to recover as much of the mercury as possible.